Imagine a 24-year-old woman holding a 5-year degree in pharmacy. By any biological or professional metric, she is a high-value asset. This is not your average low-tier migration story. It is the strategic liquidation of a high-performance unit, moving from a collapsing emerging market into the relative stability of a developed, albeit decaying, empire. At age 25, she entered an international marriage registry, a move orchestrated by her parents. After the global pandemic decimated their family's economic buffer, the irony here is sharp enough to cut. While 25-year-old Korean units are busy chasing work-life balance and finding themselves through overpriced coffee and shallow social media validation, this Vietnamese pharmacist was calculating the return on investment of her entire bloodline. She didn't just join an agency, she launched a family-wide rescue mission. The narrative hook is the precise selection process. She was presented with a catalog of 7 to 8 Korean male profiles. She wasn't a passive product on a shelf, she was the lead procurement officer. She filtered through the defective inventory of the Korean dating market and selected the subject. A man who had already waved the white flag in the domestic circuit after being chewed up and spat out by the entitlement-heavy demands of local females. The essential message is the absolute collapse of the human trafficking narrative, pushed by bitter, aging domestic units, when a 25-year-old pharmacist looks at 8 men and picks one. Based on financial stability and future potential, that is a high-level merger and acquisition. The logical dissection of this case reveals a multi-layered economic contract. The husband provides an immediate liquidity injection in the form of a monthly allowance and covers all operational overhead. In return, he receives a biological reset button, a wife in her mid-20s, capable of producing multiple offspring, without the skyrocketing risks of geriatric pregnancy that haunt the 35-plus domestic market. The sheer absurdity of the Korean domestic situation is highlighted by the subject's previous failures in traditional blind dates. He was matched with women his own age, women whose biological clocks were already in the 11th hour, yet who demanded the financial tribute of a king. By pivoting to the Vietnamese market, he performed a classic arbitrage trade. He took his mid-tier Korean capital and purchased a top-tier global asset. By moving his resources into a more fertile and appreciative demographic, he wasn't just finding a spouse. He was building a bunker for the coming storm. To understand the necessity of this domestic exit, we must dissect the circus of desperation that has become the local blind dating market. For years, our subject was trapped in this meat grinder, negotiating with women in their 30s. These individuals possess a high-maintenance user interface that is already starting to glitch. The irony is palpable. The domestic female mocks the international bride as being bought, yet she herself demands a massive key money deposit for a marriage with no collateral. It is a historical parallel echoing the fall of the Qing dynasty. She views herself as a premium product, but the data proves that she is, in fact, toxic inventory. The lowest birth rate in human history fuels the entitlement loop and psychological rot. A 33-year-old woman expects a man to provide a debt-free apartment costing 1.2 billion won. She requires a luxury SUV and a lifestyle that mirrors the lies of her social media feed. When the subject performed the math, he realized he was being asked to pay new car prices. He was paying for a high-mileage, salvage title vehicle, and his pivot was a rational market correction. The real pathetic struggle is the domestic woman in her late 30s joining hiking groups. A frantic attempt to find a provider before her biological utility evaporates. It is a liquidation sale. It is a liquidation sale where zero are buying. Consider the pharmacy factor. The subject's wife is a disciplined, educated unit with a 5-year pharmacy degree. Her degree represents a cognitive level that exceeds the average influencer. She understands delayed gratification. This is educational arbitrage. The husband is providing seed capital to a high-potential startup. In 10 years, when the husband is 50, his wife will be 35, entering the pharmaceutical labor market. This is a reverse merger. He provides the shell company, while she provides the growth potential. We must address the allowance. By providing an allowance, the husband is outbidding the local labor market. He is an angel investor. Critics use matrimonial human rights as a smokescreen to hide their terror. If men stop playing their rigged game, their market value drops to zero. They are non-fungible tokens in a world moved back to the gold standard. The wife laughs at the trafficking label. She traded a 60-hour workweek for motherhood. Motherhood in a G7 economy is far superior. The domestic market is a closed loop of failure. The real innovation here is the implementation of extended family logistics, a masterclass in socioeconomic engineering. In this framework, the husband evolves from a mere provider into a migration sponsor. Think about the standard childcare crisis currently crippling domestic couples in a typical arrangement. A young couple is forced to outsource the most critical years of their child's development. They pay 3 million won every month for a nanny who has no biological stake in the future. It is a massive drain on capital and a source of constant psychological friction. The subject bypassed this entire failure loop by bringing the in-laws from Vietnam to Korea. He solved the labor shortage and the childcare vacuum in a single move. These grandparents provide what we call biological childcare, high trust, high investment care. Meanwhile, these in-laws enter the labor-starved manufacturing and agricultural sectors, earning 5 times their domestic rate. It is a three-way win for everyone involved. The in-laws secure their financial future, the husband gains absolute peace of mind, and the wife maintains her sanity while pursuing her pharmaceutical studies in peace. This technical mechanism is invisible to the individualistic observer who views independence as a virtue. In reality, her independence is a fragile dependency on a market that hates her. The subject's model is an indestructible fortress of shared interests and sovereign continuity. Most critics see a multicultural family and think of a demographic dilution. But the data suggests the opposite as Korea transforms into an assisted living facility. The domestic population has stopped reproducing, choosing instead to rot in a digital void. By having 2 children, the subject is building a dual-language dynasty for the future. These kids are the future bridge to the massive growth potential of Southeast Asia. While their peers are trapped fighting over a 1% chance at a corporate desk job, these children will navigate 2 worlds as a hedged fund in a dying market. The husband realized that traditional nationalism is a losing trade in the modern era. When your own countrywomen treat you as an ATM with a 2026 expiration date, your loyalty to the national bloodline should be zero. He liquidated his outdated loyalty. He invested in a global partnership and diversified the entire family portfolio for growth. The most brilliant aspect of this logical dissection is the retirement swap mechanism. This is intergenerational wealth and labor transfer occurring within a single unit. In a domestic marriage with a woman of equal age, both partners burn out simultaneously. At 55, their earning engines stall, leaving them with nothing but a tiny apartment. The subject's model utilizes a staggering productivity cycle by marrying a younger woman. By marrying a woman 10 to 15 years younger, he front-loads the labor. He provides the seed capital for her education while he is in his prime. When he slows down at 60, his wife will enter her peak earning decade. He essentially hired his own future caretaker and primary breadwinner through high-level engineering. This is the final solution for the East Asian male who refuses to go bust. Japan and Taiwan are in the storm, but Korea is the final boss of collapse. We are currently living through the golden time, a statute of limitations for the male. Every day you spend trying to fix a defective domestic asset is a stolen day. This is the margin call for an entire generation. The state becomes a 100% zombie. Our subject escaped this asylum for the VIP lounge and secured a hybrid unit. By choosing a 25-year-old Vietnamese pharmacist, he is hacking the entire system. Their children will be the new elite gods in a dying empire, globally connected. This is not just a marriage, it is a strategic escape to a private island. Stop begging for scraps, move fast, or die alone in this collapsing society. Fuel the truth at dating in Korea and support the structure of the future. Stay safe in the lounge and observe the final collapse of the old world.